Hello, guys. Welcome back. I'm here to bring through some messages around what happens right when you're about to or in the process of breaking through a pattern, specifically breaking through a pattern that is very significant for you and your soul's path, your soul's evolution, your soul's purpose. In other terms, you're about to get your manifestation. So here's what happens when you are about to break through something that's massive and very pivotal for you in your soul lesson. And here's the thing. This is a huge theme that I'm seeing collectively right now. It's a huge theme that I'm seeing in client sessions. And when I do notice things like this, I know that I have to share this with as many people as possible. So hopefully this video can help you. For some of you, I can see that, this is about to happen. For some of you, this is like you're in the process of it. First, you're like in the thick of it. For some of you, it's like you already passed that. You passed the test, and it's just more of a confirmation for something, to hopefully provide you a little bit of support and a big energetic yes. People are literally breaking through massive patterns, soul contracts, lessons, tests, all these things are coming up right now. And like generational curse for some people, like you're breaking through that energy. It's a very big Cinderella moment, like where she transforms into this. I don't know. I can't remember Cinderella, but I'm just seeing that like massive transformation process happening. And sometimes when you were in the thick of it, it's hard to see things from a higher perspective. So hopefully, I know that this video is going to find you at the perfect moment of when you need it, of either to provide you some confirmation, either help you see things from a higher perspective, because your manifestation is about to come in. Something big is about to land. And the funny thing is that there's been a lot of themes around the plane about to land. And last night I had a dream where the planes were landing. So this feels really big. And I mean, this is timeless, obviously. But it was really this moment that I was seeing where an ancient block, a pattern, a lesson, soul contracts were literally being cleared. And where we're out at right here is like when we clear that, when we break through that block, when we, break through that lesson, it's a lot of go energy. It's a massive breakthrough. And so for a lot of you, I feel like I have to share this with you, like, congratulations, you're breaking through, you're about to do it. You are, you have done it. But what happens right before you're about to break through is that sometimes you are met with something that feels like the thing. It has elements of the thing. It feels like a big, shiny, beautiful, shiny object, right? But something's missing in that shiny object. There's a little bit of something being a little off. It doesn't feel like the fullness. It doesn't feel like the fruit is fully ripe, right? And that's because it's likely a test right before you're about to pass through and break through. So this can look like, everybody's coming at this from a different place. Some people have patterns when it comes to love, money, career, health, power, worth, all these things. The universe can sometimes bring through these tests to that power, tests to your worth, right before a massive upgrade, before a massive life upgrade, up level, before you're about to hit your huge manifestation. Something big is about to land into place. And I feel like a lot of you can feel that. What happens right before that is that you get the almost thing. You get the thing, or you feel quite tested right before a breakthrough. You almost want to give up right before a breakthrough, right? You get tested so and triggered so much right before a massive breakthrough. And so what this can look like is that the universe can bring in this shiny object, okay? It has elements of the thing. It feels like it might have to be the thing. So for some of you, this, like, for example, it can look like you meet the love of your life, but there's a little red flag there. They're not available, or they're emotionally unavailable. And so it can look like you settling, or, waiting, or thinking that this is the thing, when this person's not actually going to commit to you, right? There's something off about this picture. It has elements of all those things that you've been looking for and aspects of it, but there's something in there that's lacking, right? And that's the thing, right? It has the almost thing, but then there's the kicker. This person's not emotionally available in some way, or they're not available, right? And that's when you know that there's a little bit of a test there, right? And so when you are tested, it's because you're right before the breakthrough. The universe believes in you. Okay? The universe, everything is seeking to wake you up to your truth, your power, your authenticity. The universe wants to stretch your worth. You want the big thing. You want the massive glow up, the success, the career, the money, the house, the whatever it is that you're trying to manifest. But it's asking you to stretch your worth, and because it knows your true potential. Your soul believes in you so much. And some of these patterns are reoccurring themes and they feel familiar. You might be in a different level. It might have a different, let's say, like container, but it's the same thing when you digest it. When you look into it, you're at a different level. It's a different energy, but it's the same thing when you unpack it, right? And that's when you want to really remove your emotions and your need, and remain a little bit more detached to really inspect that thing and really decide, is this the thing, or is this something a little off? Does this feel like a test? And you're going to know that because you're going to feel it, because it might feel like a familiar thing. It feels familiar, likely, but it's not the full picture. There's something slightly off about it. And if you are someone who places too much power in external validation, you're someone that needs that approval. You place other people on pedestals. You are putting all your worth in external circumstances. You are literally placing, like, I don't know, it's just like all your eggs in one thing working out, and you need that validation, and that's where the proving or that validation is coming from. In order to prove your worth, you're going to be tested. You're going to have, like, the universe is going to wake you up to your truth and power very quickly. So if you're someone who needs that external validation or the approval, or you're still placing people on pedestals and, like, making yourself inferior in some way, you're going to have some kind of awakenings around this. The universe is going to continue to deliver some kind of wild test or experience, because it's serving to wake you up to your true potential, your true power, your true worth, right? With the way that things are happening right now, we are needed. Sovereignty is needed. You are needed in your power, in your fullness, in your true potential. The universe believes in you. And that's why you're listening to this video right now. The universe is not going to let you get away with anything less than, right? The universe will continue to deliver you that same experience, the same lessons, until you finally wake up to your truth, because it believes in you. It's asking more from you. You may wonder, like, why can this person who's not even, aware of any of these things, hasn't done their work, not going through the same things that I'm going through, right? Or why do I have to be tested? Like, it's because you are meant for more. It's because you're meant for more. You're made for more, right? The universe believes in you. It's asking of you to expand your capacity in some way. It believes in your power. It believes in who you are. It's asking more from you, right? It's because you are the leaders of the new way. You didn't come here to play small. You didn't come here to people please. You didn't come here to place all your power in external circumstances. You didn't come here to put people on a pedestal. All of that needs to be dismantled right now, and it's happening at an accelerated pace. So if you're someone that, like, is thinking that someone is going to come and save you or do something for you, or this person that is above you in some way, I don't know, validate you in some way or your path, that is like, you're going to get waken up so quickly, because you are meant to be your own source of power. So if you are one of those people that does that, I would recommend unplugging from everybody, all the external sources that you place your power into, that you place there's someone that does this thing, and not like many people do it, where you go, if this thing doesn't work out, then it means I'm done. Like, and it's like this quitter mentality. And, that is just not the way that things happen, right? And, it's a it's a very immature way of doing things, really, if you think about it, right? And so what happens right before you're about to hit the jackpot, okay? Right before you're about to meet the love of your life, the full picture, or you're about to get that glow up, or that, the relationship, love, money, whatever that is, the home, the home that you actually want, or the place where you actually want to live, you can be met with that thing that tests it, right? You might feel really stretched and tested right before you hit that breakthrough, because you're working through patterns at a really accelerated pace that are really important for you and your soul's purpose, your evolution. It's what you came here to learn. And these old lessons are completed. There's a lot of expired energy and expired contracts that you've already completed, right? And for some of you, you're breaking through these patterns as something you signed up for, to break through for your lineage, for your own soul's evolution. And you're right at the moment where you're about to break through. Okay. And so that's when you can kind of feel like, oh, the tests are coming in. It's the almost thing, all the things that almost check all the boxes, but there's a massive red flag there, or there's something that, just being pulled around by people in some way, that you are placing your power in, or it's that career that comes in, or the job that comes in that has the almost thing, but there's something not fully right about it, or there's a really big, you have to really stretch your faith right now. You have to stay in that, maintain that energy of like, it's going to work out. The right thing's going to come in. I don't have to settle. I don't have to overly compromise, right? And that's when you're right. It almost feels like it's the thing, but there's something really off about it, or something not fully there. And it's really a felt sense. And you have to really have to detach your emotions from the situation, and really, really look at it from a clear perspective, right? Zoom out and look at it from a higher perspective. If you were looking at it from a soul's perspective, what would your soul be saying right now? And, I literally felt like in a client session recently where I was like, no, don't, you're right there. Don't do it. Like, that's not it. And obviously I don't speak it in that way, but it can feel like that thing of like, no, you're going the wrong way. And that's sometimes how our angels or our higher self are like screaming at you, like, no, come on. This is an easy one. This isn't easy. This is a gimme. Like this feels so familiar. You've done this before. It's like, you deserve the full thing. Why don't you level up that worth? Because you're going to get that thing right there. When you say no, you say yes to the thing. Sometimes it can be almost immediate, especially with the accelerated pace that we're in right now. The universe is going to continue to bring forward the same situations at different levels, different key players, but the same thing, as a way for you to finally get it. Okay. You learn the same soul lesson until you choose differently. And then you're going to be at a place where you're like, oh God, I've already learned this. Like, this is not even a test. I'm not even like attached to it. It feels very detached at that point. But if you keep getting hit over the head by the same situations over and over again, they feel quite familiar to you. And it's okay to say no, 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 and keep holding and maintaining that field, even when you feel tested to that last moment, right? It's like that miracle moment, the 11th hour, right? And it's like, you hold the faith, you hold it as long as you need to, and until you finally recognize it, when you finally choose yourself, and then you can move forward. And when you really detach, you realize, oh, many of these situations and people are really just playing their roles. This is the divine plan. They're just playing the rules so that I can learn my lesson, so that I can evolve. Wow, thank you so much for being that test for me, so that I can finally wake up to my worth and break through. And then once I wake up to that, I no longer need those lessons anymore. I'm in a new place. I'm in a new energy. It's going to evolve you and wake you up to the truth of who you are, your power, your potential. And self-love is such a huge key theme right now, in a way to really choose yourself in a way that you haven't done before. It's time to really believe in yourself if others won't, right? If you don't have that belief, the biggest currency is your own belief in yourself. Nothing will ever satisfy that endless endless bottomless pit of needing that validation or approval. And that's what's needed right now for you to fully deeply anchor into yourself, into your belief. Why don't you give yourself that validation that you're seeking in other people? Why don't you finally feel worthy in yourself? Why don't you finally believe yourself, right? This is what happens. Your worth gets stretched. Your faith gets stretched because the thing that you're stepping into, this next level, it's an up level, right? You need to up level that worth in order to vibrationally match to this frequency of what is needed to bring in that thing, right? So you might feel tested. You might feel like it's the almost thing. And you're going to feel whether that is right for you. It's going to feel familiar. It's like, is this action really moving the needle forward, or is it really just me doing the same thing over and over again? That's exhausting, right? Does this feel familiar, but at a new level, but the same stuff? It's really about you showing up differently to those things, you choosing a different outcome. And when we complete a lesson, we no longer need the experience anymore. We are done with it. And a lot of what's happening and why it's important for me to share this message right now is that really a huge key theme right now. And whenever you listen to this, obviously, but it's like there's massive breakthroughs happening. There's massive breakthroughs of, really old contracts, lessons, experiences, the holds that have been on you and your soul, this blockage that has been there, it's clearing out really quickly because there is an accelerated pace happening right now. And so if you can fully, when you look back on situations in the most simple ways, if you can see it the way that your soul or God's source or your guide see you, if you really zoom up and detach, you look back almost like you look back on certain experiences. When you evolve, you learn more, you know more, right? And then you look back and you go, oh my God, thank God. Thank God I didn't do that. Thank God I trusted that. Thank God I held strong in the face of that. And you look back and you go, oh my goodness, thank goodness, right? That's the kind of thing that you need to have right now. That's when you really connect with your soul and your future self. When they look back, what would they say right now? Would they say, keep going in this toxic pattern? Or would they say, oh, okay, now I get it, right? That's how simple we can have it. But it's almost very comical how quickly the universe can come through with a test right before, or like a shiny object right before you're hitting that breakthrough, or right when you're in the process of that breakthrough. It's as if the universe or your soul screams at you saying it's time to love yourself. You were made for something so much bigger than this. You're shooting so much smaller. And that's why these tests come through, because the universe sees what you don't. The universe sees a higher potential for you, a higher outcome for you. It actually sees that you no longer need this lesson anymore. And it's time for you to, there's a better plan, right? There's a better way. There's a better situation. This is not it, right? And for some of you, that's not a message for all of you, but the universe really believes in you. So if you can stop seeing it as something out to get you and just being oh, there's a bigger potential for me here. Oh, I was shooting way too low for myself. Oh, this was me playing out my low self-worth. If you've ever wondered why something abruptly ends, or something releases out of nowhere, or things drift away without knowing why, or you feel strongly guided to do something only for it to not really pan out the way you thought it would, maybe you felt the calling to do something, and then you had to pull away, or you're wondering why was I led to this? I don't understand. The higher reason for it is because there's something that you had to learn in that situation, or that situation was right for you at the time, but you rapidly quantum leap or accelerated or transformed. You've moved past a lot of soul lessons. You've evolved that you no longer needed that thing. And the universe said, okay, well, we're just going to take that away because we don't need that anymore. There's something better, right? A lot of us highly sensitive people who are doing the work, right? Who are, have a higher perspective on things, are highly sensitive in many ways, or you're the person that always self-reflects. But when you self-reflect, do you always make yourself wrong, right? Are you that person that always has that pattern that in situations you make yourself out to be the worst person? Because a lot of highly sensitive, we tend to blame ourselves. We tend to accept blame, and that can be, obviously that's a really deep soul wound. There's a wounding there. But you may wonder, like, why did that happen? What did you do wrong, right? What is wrong with you? And those are the abandonment wounds that you want to uncover, right? Because there's a lot of rejection, abandonment wounds coming up, inner child abandonment wounds that are surfacing, which is really just a separation wound from God's source and a disconnection from ourself, right? So you may wonder, like, why did that happen? What did I do wrong? What's wrong with me? And yes, it's important to reflect and always kind of see things, because there's self-responsibility is really important. But you know this, if this is right for you, where you accept blame, you take on that victim role when you don't, and that's not even yours. You may have done something, you may have contributed, but like sometimes you may take it in as a way to rejection of, like, what did I do wrong? What's wrong with me? I'm unworthy. All those wounds can surface, right? So sometimes on this path, you may wonder, like, why didn't this work out when it comes to different people and situations in life? Perhaps another door closed, or you're faced with a deep feeling of abandonment and rejection. It's all happening because there is such a highly protective ancestor, God source, whatever, right? That is very protective over you and your dreams and your vision. They see the bigger picture, right? They see things that you don't. And for some of you who are on this really highly evolved path, there's a really clear, direct path. There's a lot of support with you right now. They will quickly shut things down because you're so highly protective that aren't for your highest good. Or as such a bright light and a bright energy, very accepting, to the point of, you're leaking a lot of your energy out. There's that case to it. They're very protective over you and your energy and your path because you're so important, right? Because you're so highly loved. And when things are quickly shut down, when they will do, because you're so highly protected, and when things appear to be good but are not quite the frequency match, because they know the truth of who you are and the purity of your soul, and there's a higher reason and a higher force that is watching over you, and you're being asked to trust in that higher divine plan. So if situations don't work, work or don't work, trust in that. You might get that proof right away. You might say, if you are being called to say no to something and you're like, why? I don't know why I just feel like this is no, I have to do something, walk away from something, or lean towards something, and you don't fully understand it. Sometimes you get proof and sometimes you won't ever get proof. Sometimes you'll get proof later on, right? But you have to just trust that intuition. And the more that you do that, the easier it will get, because where you're going, there's like a higher level needed from you, right? And you get initiated on this path in some way. You gain a lot of lessons and experiences because you have a big role, right? The mindset flip around this to really have is recognizing your soul might just have different needs. Maybe you needed a different level of depth that this person or this situation didn't have, right? So if you're feeling rejected, maybe it's just going, oh, maybe this just wasn't right for me. Or maybe there was a different level of frequency. The frequency wasn't a match. Maybe it wasn't a match to the frequency and direction of where I'm going. So there's your soul has different needs, yet you might have been settling or still bending over backwards for people, or shrinking to fit in. You're no longer meant to shrink to fit in to environments that are too small for you. Your soul is so deeply protective over you, and it will be very quick to shut things down that are not right for you or for your highest and greatest good, okay? Because you're meant to be in your big energy. You're not meant to shrink to fit into these environments, or you know that when you have to shrink, or you feel like you have to like hold back yourself, that's usually like some great information for you to take in of, why don't I feel fully safe to express or unleash, or why do I feel like I have to shrink and hide myself in some way? And that's a very energetic it's a very energetic thing. Sometimes you'll be called on this path to do things or shut things down, and you don't understand why, or, put an end to things, or say no to things, or say yes to things, or walk away from things, whatever it may be. And it doesn't quite fully make sense. But the more that you follow that guidance, the more easier it will become, right? The more that you won't feel, your people pleasing will go. So you won't feel as afraid to let things go or to lean right into something, right? And throughout the process, you're going to get a lot more efficient at knowing when it's time to stay, when it's time to move, when it's time to evolve, trust what you know. You may not understand fully why or the bigger picture, but you are likely outgrowing a lot of situations and environments to align you with who you're truly meant to be. And so just know that when you are in the process of breaking through a pattern, a lesson, a soul contract, something that is so big for you and your soul, and here's the thing, so many people are going through this, right? You are often met with that test right before your breakthrough. You often want to give up right before you're about to hit such a massive breakthrough in your life, right? And it's, because a lot of soul patterns are that we've been, moving through are completed, right? And so, or you're literally right about to hit your manifestation. You're about to find the thing, you're about to hit your manifestation, something big is about to land for you, and you're almost met with that almost thing right before you, and the second you say no, or when you just have a greater awareness and a higher picture for why certain things happen, the more detached you can be and trust that something better will be there, right? Don't cling on to the small things when something bigger wants to come in, when the fullness wants to come in, when the true experience and frequency match wants to come in. And it's because you've upgraded, you've up leveled, you're outgrowing a lot of situations. So oftentimes your faith and your worth is being asked to stretch to be able to hold this new energy that wants to come in. Inspect the shiny object and that beautiful package that comes in, because sometimes there's something a little off about it. And you want the full beautiful package. You don't want the red flag or the almost or the shiny thing, but underneath something's a little off there. You want the full thing. You want the full thing. And it'll be so worth it because you are breaking through a massive pattern for you and your lineage and your soul, and you're about to hit your mark. You're about to get your manifestation. Things are about to land for you. So just trust and know that the universe will stretch you, it will test you because it believes in you. It sees your power, it sees your potential, and it needs you in that fullness. It needs you in that full potential. So congratulations, you are breaking through. You've either likely already done that, you're about to, or this might be for a later time for you, but just know that you might feel that shiny object or the almost thing that happens, or you might feel quite tested on your path right before you're about to hit a breakthrough. And it's not to give up, it's not to settle, any of that. It's because you have to level up your worth. You have to hold your vibration and hold this level that you believe in what's going to come in, right? Not the almost, not the maybe, but the fullness. You want the fullness. You deserve the full thing that's about to land. So some of you, it's like a no and a no. And then right there, you see that big thing is right there and you can feel it. And so trust in that. And I just wanted to bring that through because this is a major theme that I'm seeing. And it's because there's such a big patterns that people are breaking through right now. You're literally breaking through huge things. I feel like a lot of you are already in that Cinderella moment where you're like, you've shattered something and you broken through that massive ceiling that's right there. You've broken through the block and you're moving on to the other side. Hope this helps, and I'll speak to you guys in the next video.